Let's build your first PowerApps app from SharePoint data. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the SharePoint list. We're then going to turn that into an app. We'll talk about how the inside of the app works, explain some of the key pieces so you know what to search for and figure out as you want to make additional customizations. Then we'll take that app, we will save it, we'll publish it, and share it out with a friend so we can see how other people access it. So let's just jump over to my desktop and take a look. All right, before we get started, let's jump over to SharePoint real quick and just talk about the SharePoint list. It's a pretty standard list with some normal columns, right, of just a bunch of fake employee data. But if we go over here to list settings, and then we have the columns here. So that way, if you wanted to make the exact same list for yourself, you would be able to do that. We're not going to use any of these JSON columns or any of the complex ones. We're going to start with the simple stuff. Also keep in mind that notice only my title field is required, and I left that one required because SharePoint made that required by default, but you could turn that off and PowerApps will enforce whatever you do or don't have here. Okay, so that's our simple SharePoint employees list. So now we want to create an app from that. So if we jump over here to make.powerapps.com, and this will take you to different places depending on whether you're in different regions around the world, or this whole video also works if you're in the government cloud. So then it would take you to the government tenant. But either way, we want to get to the homepage, and we're all going to see something slightly different here because there's probably 12 different ways to get started. All right, we can start with plans now. If we go to the create tab, we can start with Copilot data. So just use our words to create an app. We can start with some data, which was actually what we're going to do in just a second. We could start by choosing the type of design we wanted and then kind of adding the data after the fact. Or once you get a little bit more along your way, you'll probably always start with a blank canvas, just a big old white screen that you can add all the controls yourself. But for today, we're going to start with our SharePoint data by clicking on Start with Data. Now here they kind of overwhelm you with all the options again. And so what you want to choose here is you want to say Connect External Data. Now, depending on what you do, there are different things that might show up. There might be other ways to start from SharePoint. But a lot of those will then take the data, put it in Dataverse and such. So let's try to stay right here in the ballpark of what I'm at. All right, after a few seconds, this screen should come populated. Now over here, if you see SharePoint, and it might say you need to connect. If you've never connected before, you just need to click on this and then say sign in and it'll connect you, right? There's nothing special to do. Don't overthink it. But for me, I've signed in 1,000 times in my life, so pretty straightforward. Okay, now once you've got this, then it's like, all right, well, what SharePoint site do you want? So if you know the site, like in my case, I want PowerApps videos, we can choose the site. And then if we scroll down here a little bit more, we can go through and either search the list, or we could do this and then be like, all right, I want that employees list. Now, once you've chosen all of that, you're then going to say create app. But before we say create app, I also want you to note that if you're not really sure, you can't find what you're looking for, we could have been over here, grab this whole URL, Control A, Control C, and then we could have pasted that into this and said connect. And then this will filter it down to just that site. So that will help you find the site, but then you still have to find your list again, right? So it doesn't take you straight there, but it gets you halfway there. All right, either way, let's hit create app in the bottom right corner. Okay, after 15 to 30 seconds, depending on its mood, we have an app, right? And up here in the top right, if you click on preview the app, or I always call it the play button, we can see all of our SharePoint data and we can be like, oh, you know what? We want to go down here, click on Greg, and his favorite color is not purple. So we'll hit the edit pencil and then we'll change his favorite color to his actual favorite color, which is blue. And then we'll hit the check mark. I hope he doesn't ever use that for his password, like, suggest an answer thing. Cause I always tell people his actual favorite color is blue. But now that we've done that, if we go over here to SharePoint, right, we can see it was purple. If we just do a refresh, look at that, it is blue. So literally a couple clicks of a button and we have an app, right, that is configured and working and editing and interacting with our SharePoint list. If we want to create a new record, right, there's a new button here that would start us on a new field. We can edit people, we can delete people, all the things that you'd expect to do in a true app. Good news, if you delete someone, they will actually go in the recycle bin. Woohoo! So you still get those SharePoint protections as well. Now over here, we also have things like search. So if we started searching for CH, right? So we can see that we have Chewy's nemesis here because that is Ferguson's title and that is searching on the title field. Then we could then click on it and now we're off in editing. Go back up here, clear that out. And then now we're back to the full list. So a complete CRUD app, if you call it, right? We can create records, we can read records, we can update records, AKA edit, and we can delete records. Very cool. Also, what's awesome about this app is if you go up here and click on the phone and say, what would this look like on an Apple iPhone 13, 14? Boom, there you go. So now it has the ability to be what we call responsive. What if I turn the phone sideways? That's what it would look like. All the functionality is still here. And that's one of the neat things about this template is it built us a fully responsive app. Now, before we worry about editing the app, let's just say, you know what? That app's perfect. I want to get this out there. So what we're going to do up in the top right corner is we're going to click on the save icon. We have to give our app a name. And so we will call this PowerApps Demo Fun because I'm super creative. And we'll say save. And as soon as that little wheel stops spinning, you see that all changes are saved. We are good to go. So then now we're like, all right, well, we want to get that and push it out. So then we can hit the publish icon here and then say publish this version. And so then that will mean that latest save is the published live version available to anyone we share it with. So how do we share it with someone? Up here, once again, in the top corner, we've got share. And now we have the ability to choose like Chewy. So we'll say Chewy. And it's like, all right, Chewy the dog, yes. And we're going to share it. The little eye icon means that he could use the app, or if we wanted to change it to co-owner, would mean that he could come in, edit this app, edit permissions, and help us manage or run the app, right? But we just want to share it with Chewy so he can use it, start interacting with our SharePoint data. And so just like that, we could say share. And now you've shared it. It will send Chewy an email. Now, one thing to consider when you start sharing this though, is that the way that PowerApps works, like we'll see in just a second, when Chewy logs in, he's going to have to say, yes, I consent to you using my Chewy username and password to talk to SharePoint. So everything that this app does is in the context of the user of the app, not me, the maker of the app. So we need to make sure that if we want Chewy to be able to use that SharePoint list, that he has permissions to that SharePoint list. If we want Chewy to be able to delete records, he needs to have delete permission in that SharePoint list. So we want to make sure that we're thinking through the security model because that's who it's going to follow. The same with licensing. We're not going to get into licensing much, but just know that licensing goes with the user of the app, not the person who made the app. Okay, so let's switch over to another browser. Let's go up here to the top and we'll click on Chewy. Right? I don't know why all of your dogs don't have their own app. And so in a moment, it will pass that over. It'll send Chewy an email. It usually takes a few minutes, or we can just go back to our app and we'll just say copy this link, right? We want to copy the link to play the app. So copy that link. Now go back to the green browser. We know that is Chewy's. And then we'll go up here, we'll paste it in the URL. And so here's that authentication screen. And I was like, hey, I want to talk to SharePoint and it's going to be done as Chewy. So that means that Chewy's account needs permissions to that list. I know I already said that, but it's worth repeating. So Chewy's going to say allow. And so then now in just a moment, you'll see all the data starts to load and Chewy is off and able to use this app. And if he goes in and be like, you know what? Greg's favorite color isn't blue. It really is. We're going to change it to be power purple because he hates when I change it to power purple. And then we'll say check. And as you can imagine, if we go back over to our SharePoint list and do a quick refresh here, Greg's favorite color is now power purple. So bingo, bango, fully functional app built, configured, shared outside. Now, we didn't really do a lot of configuring though. So let's go back over here and let's just talk a little bit more now that we've kind of seen, like we've got it working, but maybe you're wondering like, all right, well, what if I want to change what was going on over here? So this right here, this is called a gallery. So if you were going to search for YouTube videos on galleries, that would tell you how to work with and configure this. But really what galleries are, is it is a way to show all the records or items from a table. So all those list items. And then inside the gallery, we click on the top row, that is the template row, and you can adjust it. So like if I click here, that is then what we call a label control. So if I pull this up here, we've got that. And it's then saying the text property. So what is it displaying? This item.title. So that's why it shows CEO for Nicola, truck driver for Greg, PowerApps guru for the yours truly. You get the idea. But this just wants text. It doesn't care how you get there. So if I wanted this to say title and then like that. So look, now it says title and then all their titles. So text inside of PowerApps is inside of double quotes. And then we use a very Excel-like formula here, ampersands, to concatenate or combine the two strings. So combining title colon space and their dynamic title. And that's why those records look that way. What if we wanted to show another field? We could go here and maybe I'm going to click on this label. I'm going to say Control C and then Control V. And so then drag it kind of in the right place. And then maybe for this one, we want to do their department. So we say that. And then for this item, we're going to do a dot. Remember, PowerApps is case sensitive. And so if we start to type in department, it will auto suggest, and we need to get it just like that. So I can just hit the tab key. And then now all of them say this item department. And then finally, maybe we'll do one more copy, paste. Oh, not like that. We'll click here, Control C, Control V. And then we'll go down here. And maybe for this one, we just want them all to say, hi, mom, right? So we could say, hi, mom. Now they all just say, hi, mom, because I hard-coded that text. Man, I probably didn't really want that. We probably want something like this item dot first name with a tab, ampersand, space, 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 ampersand, this item dot last name. And look at that. Now they all show their first names and last name. So that's the key to galleries, right? Is there a bunch of controls? You just continually configure this top row and all the other rows follow suit. All of this being done very dynamically. Like if we change this to this item dot hourly wage, that would work, but notice it doesn't really look like wage. And so then maybe we would use like a PowerFX function to do something like this, which is an Excel-like formula, quite frankly, but now they all look like currency. There's a lot of that to learn. We're going to try to teach you all that today, but that is PowerFX is the formula language of PowerApps. And that's what you use to, the different functions you use to create things, manipulate data, look up data, update data, delete data, all the things, right? There are hundreds of those. I don't know how many there are, but at least 100 of different functions that PowerApps supports. Okay, so that's a gallery control. The other main component you want to understand over here on the right is we have this form control. Forms are working with a specific row. So that's why when we click on Greg here, we now see Greg's data. And so what the form control does over here on the right, if you go to fields, you can manipulate these, change these to different orders. So for example, maybe you don't ever want to see people's hire date again, right? We'd say edit field, and then we go here to hire date and we could say remove. And now the hire date field is gone. And maybe we want to move their hourly wage up. So we go here to fields, just grab it, drag it up here after their title. And now you've got this slide or title and hourly wage. All of the work around, we notice like right now, let's switch just back to the full mode. So we know that like if we hit edit, then it becomes an edit mode. If we hit the check mark, it saves it. This one cancels it. That's the delete icon. So the way all those work is they are setting either properties or controls to different things, right? So we're not going to try to get into all that, but to know that this one form is doing everything, we're just manipulating the modes for you when you press those buttons. All right, and the last little thing here, you notice a little yellow warning triangle. It's like delegation warning. The search part of this formula might not work correctly. We can ignore that for now, but that's what it's saying is, hey, if this was on a large data set, more than 500 items in your SharePoint list, this search function might return inconsistent results. So that is delegation. It is one of the most frustrating, hardest parts of learning PowerApps. Right now, if you're using this on a test list or small data sets, you don't care. If you do need to go learn about it, go watch that video. Delegation is irresponsible, right? Like you've got to learn about delegation to build these apps. But for right now, for this first app, we just want to ignore that altogether. But really what that is the search function here is not delegable. So that is what is causing this particular warning. But if you have less than 500 items, it doesn't matter. Okay. And so now that we've made all these changes, if we hit save here, our save is done. If we were to go look as Chewy again and do a refresh, what are we going to see? Chewy is not going to see any of our changes. Why? The reason for that is because think of this version right now as the draft version. Chewy and everyone you share the app with will always see the last version you published. So all the changes I'm making now, maybe I'm like, that little 2 right there is bothering me. I would go into the gallery and find, let's see, where'd that little 2 go? Right there. If we delete that little 2, oh yeah, that looks much nicer. And once again, saving it, Chewy's not going to see that change. I'm ready for Chewy to see my changes. I'm happy, I've tested them, they're good. Now we'll click on publish this version. And now in, 30 seconds to 1 minute from now, Chewy will get a little pop-up that will let him do it. So here I'll switch over to Chewy and we'll just sit here for a second while that comes. And there you go, after a few seconds, right? Chewy got a new version of the app is coming. You're using an old version. And so if Chewy hits refresh, then there you go. Now he gets the updated version. Now, if Chewy hadn't been in the app, just the next time he loaded the app, it would have shown up. So not always going to see that. It's only if they're actively in the app when you publish it. Okay, that is enough for today. Hopefully this helps you get started. If you look right on YouTube, I've got lots of videos to help you with all these different pieces. If you wanted to get some more help, right, and go over to training.poweraapps911.com. We've got both live and on-demand classes that will help you learn in a more structured way. Like the live wants you to spend, a couple days with me. Who doesn't love that? It's a lot of fun. Or if you just want us to build it, go over to www.powerapps911.com. All right, with that, I'm going to say thanks and have a great day.